Hi, this is Kim.
Amy.
Hi, how are you doing? And we're going to read to you from the Urantia book, but first we have, show them, Amy.
365 Days of Walking the Red Road by Terry Jean. And today is February 17th. Let the young men of this nation remember that idleness leads to poverty. Industry is honorable and leads to contentment. Chief John Ross, Cherokee, 1790 to 1866.
Okay, and he was very assimilated into white culture. You can see by his pictures. If you look him up, he had a spouse named Mary Bryan, and he also had children named George Washington Ross and William Allen Ross. Do they list a native name for this person? Okay.
Would that be it? It says
Okay, yeah.
ho ho. Here it would be like ho ho, but here it's
Okay, so
gooey squee.
Cherokee had an alphabet.
Gooey
That's
squee.
really interesting. Okay. Gooey squee. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Gooey squee.
Squee. Okay. Okay. So parents are Daniel Ross and Molly Ross.
So they actually gave them Americanized names.
Right. So this, and I've said this about the Cherokee, I mean, for better, for worse, as their leadership made a decision to assimilate their tribe into American culture, white culture.
It's not just because I know a lot of people that come over here from other countries and they've changed their name. I know a woman named Comfort.
Mm-hmm.
She's that's African, sweet. And that's what her name in her native culture and dialect would transfer into. But so many people change their names when they come here for the benefit of us because it would be easier for us to pronounce. I feel we need to learn how to pronounce names.
Oh yeah, that's important. I don't know. Well, just today the drive is for natives to recognize their sovereignty as their native and to
embrace it,
their culture, and embrace their heritage.
I support that.
Yeah,
100%.
I support that too. I don't know. And that's just the Cherokee reputation. More white people claim Cherokee blood than any other. So, but anyway, thank you, John Ross, for your words. Chief John Ross. Okay.
In remembrance of Geronimo, who died on February 17th, 1909, the year my grandfather was born.
So, and he was somebody who was not willing to assimilate. He was a fighter. They tried to catch him for a long time before they actually were able to catch him.
The one who yawns.
Yeah.
That was cool. That's what his name means. The one who yawns.
The one who yawns. Okay. All right. So, and he was Chiricahua Apache. So today we remember Chief Geronimo.
Mm-hmm.
How did Geronimo die? I honestly don't know that much about his story. He died of pneumonia. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Wow.
Well, we're going to let that be then. Turn the page for tomorrow. Got that one. Some things you may not know about Geronimo. The origins of his name are disputed. Geronimo's wife and children were murdered when he was a young man. He broke out of U.S. reservations on 3 different occasions. He was hard to hold down. Geronimo's followers credit him with supernatural powers. Nearly a quarter of the U.S. Army took part in the final hunt for Geronimo.
Wow.
Right? He spent the last 23 years of his life as a prisoner of war. He participated in Theodore Roosevelt's presidential inauguration. That was probably not by choice. That was not by choice. That was while he was a prisoner.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's still a prisoner of war. Took the opportunity to plead with the president.
Yeah. But he was a celebrated figure, even though, he wasn't free. So, okay. All right. He was billed as the Apache terror and the tiger of the human race.
The president did free them, but not until 13 years after Geronimo's death. Geronimo died in 1909, and he freed the Chiricahuas in 1913.
Okay, so that's 4 years after.
Yeah.
4 years later.
Sad.
Yeah. Okay. The Tao Te Ching, translated by Ralph Allendale. Okay, and we are on chapter 17, photograph. Big mountains in the desert. I don't know if they're mountains, they're more like stone structures, right? Today it's about leaders. There are 4 types of leaders. The best leader is indistinguishable from the will of those who selected her. So you can't tell who that leader is. She's one of the people, right? Right. The next best leader enjoys the love and praise of the people. The poor leader rules through coercion and fear. And the worst leader is a tyrant despised by the multitudes who are the victims of his power. What a world of difference among these leaders. In the last 2 types, what is done is without sincerity or trust, only coercion. In the second type, there is a harmony between the leader and the people. In the first type, whatever is done happens so naturally that no one presumes to take the credit. It's like the people just do it because that's the normal thing to do. They just do what's right because they just know what to do. So he leads with like an invisible hand to show the example and to just, say this is, yeah. So that's the best leaders, just by the Tao.
Sometimes less is more.
Less is more. Yes. That's one of the great lessons of the Tao. Okay. Now I'm going to read the Urantia book here, okay? We are on paper 37, Personalities of the Local Universe. We're on section 3, the Archangels. So, Amy, would you like to read to us about the Archangels?
Archangels are the offspring of the Creator Son and of the Universe Mother Spirit. They are the highest type of high spirit being produced in large numbers. I'm so sorry. In a local universe. And at the time of the last registry, there were almost 800,000 in Nebadon.
Okay, so we always think of archangels as the highest angels, but there are angels that are higher than archangels. And we talked about those in the first part of the book, the ones that are made in paradise, right? So those are like the Super Nathan. Okay. All right.
Archangels are one of the few groups of local universe personalities who are not normally under the jurisdiction of Gabriel. They are not in any manner concerned with the routine administration of the universe, being dedicated to the work of creature survival and to the furtherance of the ascending career of the mortals of time and space.
See, they're all working on us. We are the big project. So thank you for being with us, archangels. Thank you for your care.
While not ordinarily subject to the direction of the bright and morning star, the archangels do sometimes function by his authority. They also collaborate with others of the universe aides, such as the evening stars, as is illustrated by certain transactions depicted in the narrative of life transplantation on your world. What does that mean when it says life transplant?
Well, the life carriers. Remember,
Okay.
we read about the life
Mhm.
carriers when they bring life to the world. So sometimes they have duties that are cooperating with those life carriers and with the evening stars, the universe aids, and is illustrated by certain transactions just depicted in the life trans. So we read about the life carriers before, and sometimes the archangels can help with that. So everybody's got different jobs and levels of authority here and different strengths and everything.
Yeah, I don't get when it says life transplantation, because when you transplant,
Well, because life only comes from life.
yeah,
So the life of the universe mother spirit
yeah.
is given to the life carriers, and the life carriers. Yeah, yeah. Shh,
Wait,
Abby.
wait,
Abby,
I'm
okay, honey?
busy.
Okay, so life carriers bring that transplanted into our earth. Our
Okay.
yeah. And it
That
says,
word threw me off. I'm like, huh? Wait, what? What did I just read?
I guess what we're trying to get away from the idea that life just boom emerges like spontaneously, and what they're really saying is that it doesn't. It's something that's very special, divine origin. Okay, so life, because science has this idea that if you take some pond water um, that has no organic life in it, right, just some like organic molecules,
Mm-hmm.
right, even if you have like a chunk of DNA, that's not really life, right? That's not
It's
life.
incomplete.
Well, it's not
Living.
life. It's not living. So if you zap that with electricity or lightning or enough charge, enough kind of energy, charge or ultraviolet, some kind of gamma radiation, then boom, you're going to get things. You're going to get yeah, and it
Okay.
doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't happen like that. You can get molecules to react with each other, sure, but life is something different. It only comes from life, other places, and it's a gift that we get from our mother, just like we humans, we get life from our mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
We come from the body of our mother, and our spirits come from the body of our mother spirit. Okay.
The Archangel Corps of Nebadon is directed by the firstborn of this order, and in more recent times, a divisional headquarters of the Archangels has been maintained on Urantia. It is this unusual fact that soon arrests the attention of extra Nebadon student visitors.
Okay, so this is highly unusual. So there's a divisional headquarters of the archangels on our planet. Okay, so that's a big deal. We're a special place, and we need special help, and they're giving us special help. Okay.
My hair is like all on
No, my
face.
hair is too.
Um. Okay, so the Archangel Corps of Nebadon is directed by the firstborn of this order, and in more recent times, a divisional headquarters of the Archangels has been maintained on Urantia. It is this unusual fact that soon arrests the attention of extra Nebadon student visitors. That's what I just read, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Among their early observations of intra universe transactions is the discovery that many ascendant activities of the brilliant evening stars are directed from the capital of a local system, Satania. On further examination, they discover that certain archangel activities are directed from a small and apparently insignificant inhabited world called Urantia. Wow.
Wow. So everybody's coming from all over, the universe and the different universes, and they're checking out here. Oh, you've got so much going on in this one little spot here, this one little system, and Urantia, this one planet. What's going on there? So this is the focal point. This right here where we are is the focal point of so much divine attention and activity.
Wow.
I think that's fascinating, and that's so comforting to me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, everything is so, like, I've got gloom and doom like totally on the brain, right? And the global warming and the nuclear waste and and all of the extinction of species and the overpopulation and the carbon exhaust and the pandemic, everything, and fascism, political overthrow of, like, you know, yeah. So everything is yeah. So but it's okay. They're telling you, it's telling me that they're taking care of us. They know these things. Okay. And if you're reading this or listening to this, it's probably part of your mission to help the people that aren't aware of these things, that are really scared of that, because people are so scared. They have to, it's like everything is crashing and they have to blame somebody.
Hmm.
No, I know. They have to figure out why, and they don't, you know what I mean? And it's so much bigger than people can get their little brains around, you know? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And then ensues the revelation of Michael's bestowal on Urantia and their immediately quickened interest in you and your lowly sphere.
Because Michael was here, our creator was here. That's such a huge deal. Right? Okay.
Do you grasp the significance of that fact, that your lowly and confused planet has become a divisional headquarters for the universe administration and direction of certain archangel activities having to do with the Paradise Ascension scheme?
But thank you. Please help. Please help. We need help. Please help all the poor people that are starving in you know in other countries, in poor countries. Help people figure out. Help our political leaders figure out, make sense of stuff. Help our scientists come up with solutions to these problems. Help people stop fighting with each other and trying to dominate each other and being afraid of each other. It's like, oh my gosh, you're an intellectual, you might want to take over my change my point of view on something. And I mean, gosh, yeah, everything. Help the children, most of all. Please help the children. Please, God, help the little children. Don't understand. This mess is not their fault. Help them. Don't help them to keep their hearts and their minds open, please. Yeah.
This undoubtedly
Presages.
I thought so, but I wasn't sure. Presages, it sounds weird. Presages the future concentration of other ascendant activities on the bestowal world of Michael, and lends a tremendous and solemn import to the Master's personal promise: I will come again.
Wow. Chills, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's huge. It's a lot in 2 little paragraphs.
Should I go?
Mm-hmm.
In general, the archangels are assigned to the service and ministry of the Avonal order of sonship, but not until they have passed through extensive preliminary training in all phases of the work of the various ministering spirits. A corps of 100 accompanies every paradise bestowal son to an inhabited world, being temporarily assigned to him for the duration of such a bestowal. If the magisterial son should become temporary ruler of the planet, these archangels would act as the directing heads of all celestial life on that sphere. Okay. Two senior archangels are always assigned as the personal aides of a paradise avonal on all planetary missions, whether involving judicial actions, magisterial missions, or bestowal incarnations. Okay, do you understand what an avonal is? Okay, so those are the beings, those are sons, paradise sons, okay, and they're um, they're not like creator sons, but they also have to um, be every planet has to have an incarnated paradise son
Okay.
there, right? So only one planet is privileged enough to host the creator son for that mission. All of the other planets here will host an avonal son.
Okay.
Okay, so to help bring that planet up into light and life. Michael came here because we were so messed up. We needed the most help.
Okay.
We'd been through rebellion and default and all of these things, and the development here was unusual. We're a decimal planet. All of these things were happening here, so that's why he chose to come here. But every planet gets a paradise sun to to go through the same kind of life that Jesus went through, right? And it's not necessarily that they have to die, but they have to spend their life trying to elevate the spiritual consciousness of the people in that sphere. Okay, so that's a Jesus mission, when for those planets that haven't, Jesus wasn't available to be there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so that's so two senior archangels are always assigned to the avonal as the personal aides of the paradise avonal on all planetary missions, whether involving judicial actions, magisterial missions, or bestowal incarnations. When this paradise sun has finished the judgment of a realm and the dead are called to record the so-called resurrection, so that's when they are called out of the dead are called to wake up, and you have to be judged now. Okay. It is literally true that the seraphic guardians of the slumbering personalities respond to the voice of the archangel. The roll call of a dispensation termination is promulgated by an attendant archangel. This is the judgment day. This is the big deal. This is the archangel of the resurrection, sometimes referred to as the archangel of Michael. So this is calling. Now, I know Christians, most Christian sects have the idea that, okay, the dead person is going to lay in their grave, and then they're going to come out with their bodies intact and all of that. And I don't hold with that. I think that most people, I think we go through, I think we go through reincarnations, even though this book kind of denounces reincarnation the way we traditionally perceive reincarnation. Okay, that we're not, for beings who are not, they're not invested in spiritual life. They don't really know God much. They just kind of go about. A lot of people just go about living their lives, doing their thing, and just surviving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they just go
That's
about.
all they know how to do.
Yeah, this just what they do. They just do what they're supposed to do. They don't. Yeah, that's what they do. So they reincarnate over and over, and they're still sleeping in a spiritual way of speaking. See, they're still sleeping. That's the way I perceive it. That's what I think it refers to when they're called sleeping survivors. And a lot of Urantians disagree with me on that. They don't think reincarnate. There's a dispute about reincarnation among Urantians, but what actually means to reincarnate, it's different, I think, for some people. I think that,
In some cultures.
yeah, I think there's a difference from doing it in this automatic way where you're not really controlling it. And then when you've ascended, I believe that you can do it actually by choice because you've ascended.
Yeah.
And now you want to turn and help your brothers and sisters also ascend and be of service this way. Other ascendant personalities are called to other types of service. But someone who forsakes or forgoes their own salvation in order to reincarnate and come back and help other people to know God is called a bodhisattva. Okay, and that's not a term in this book. That's a Hindu term that I kind of gravitate towards. I like that idea. But anyway,
I do too, because I thought about that. I was like, when I go to heaven, I don't know if I want to just stay there. I want to help those who are lost to
Right.
find their way to God.
And I
back to
think
God.
there's a lot of that. Doing that, people doing that. I would like to be able to say definitively, I'm a bodhisattva. I've been here, numerous lifetimes and tried to, I can't say that. I don't know, because there's a veil between our that kind of awareness, and it's there for good reason. Okay, because we're not that spiritually advanced, really, or even if you are a bodhisattva, okay, and you can't, if you go around saying I'm a bodhisattva and I pronounce you forgiven of all your sins and you're saved, who's gonna buy that? You know what I mean? Or people are gonna want to do all kinds of stuff for you to get you to do that, and if they, you know what I mean? So the best way, and God knows, Jesus knows that if we choose to do that, is to shield ourselves from the knowledge of where we come from and how progressed we are. You don't get to see your report card.
Yeah.
You don't get to see your test results until you're up there in front of, right? Okay, and I think that's wise. So thank you for that discretion, and always for being here with us as we learn and grow how to be better bodhisattvas. Right? Or just humans. I mean, come on, whatever it is. Okay, I'm going to keep going here a little bit. There's a little bit. You want to go? Yeah, I'm there.
But you're right here, right?
I'm right here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just checking to see how much. Yeah, we got to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, the worlds of the archangels. The seventh group of the encircling Salvington world with their associated satellites is assigned to the archangels. Sphere number 1 and all of its 6 tributary satellites are occupied by the personality record keepers. This enormous corps of recorders busy themselves with keeping straight the record of each mortal of time, from the moment of birth up through the universe career, until such an individual either leaves Salvington for the super universe regime or is blotted out of recorded existence by the mandate of the Ancients of Days.
Ooh,
so
that's
by that person's own choice, and by their consistent refusal to cooperate with their thought adjuster.
Wow.
Right. So yeah. So that is possible. But if you're just be nice. Okay. Just let it go. And you have to believe it'll be okay, right? Okay, do you want to wrap it up?
Yep. It is on these worlds that personality records and identification serities are classified, filed, and preserved during that time which intervenes between mortal death and the hour of repersonalization, the resurrection from death.
Okay. Do you have anything?
No. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm just visualizing what that would look like to me. So when you think about files, you think about files and
Lots of, well, it's like a huge,
but it's in their brain too.
It's in-
Well,
it's in
whatever
whatever
makeup
they
are
have.
made out of.
but you know, it's, do you know the concept of the Akashic records? That,
I've heard some about it. I
Yeah.
haven't really
yeah,
looked into it a whole lot, but yeah,
it's where all this information
Is
is
stored.
kept, is stored, and it's a living records. They talk about these record keepers like they're alive. So this living book will only divulge the information that the reader is ready to receive. Okay, so it will hold back information that you're not
ready to
Ready
hear
for.
yet and receive.
So as you grow spiritually, you have
You get
access to more of this book, these records.
We talked about that last night in my class. How that you can't learn what you're not ready to learn yet, you
No.
know, and a lot of people have, like, in hindsight, 2020, and it's like, well, you wouldn't have gotten the information, you wouldn't have received it the way you are now back then because you weren't ready to hear what you needed to hear. You hadn't experienced enough. You hadn't been vulnerable enough. You hadn't surrendered enough, and you hadn't learned how to just, instead of resisting, just go with the flow.
Yeah. Yep.
And once you can do that, this
Mm-hmm.
can connect and make sense, because otherwise you're just trying to fight it because you're fighting everything. You
Right.
got to be ready to be open and willing.
Yep.
A little angel.
There. Do you want to say hi to the people? Say hi to our people, dear Abby.
She's not feeling so hot today. She got her
Okay.
second COVID shot yesterday.
Oh, our sweet girl.
Look at this hair, everybody.
Isn't it beautiful? You want to say hi,
Mhm.
sweetheart? No. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to say goodnight to you and have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody. Look at those beautiful brown eyes.